You are listening to the Horse Radio Network, part of the Equine Network family.
What a beautiful day for horses in the morning.
You are listening to the #1 horse podcast in the world. Here's your entertaining look at the horse world and the people in it.
Well, good Wednesday morning, everybody. I am Glenn the Geek in Ocala, Florida.
And I'm Jamie Jennings in Norman, Oklahoma. You're listening to Horses in the Morning on the Horse Radio Network for Wednesday, December 20th, almost Christmas, episode 3326. Good morning, Horse World.
Well, Merry Christmas, everybody. Thank you so much for joining us. This is Jamie and I's last recording of the year. We'll have shows for you the rest of the year that Ashley put together, some of our best of interviews and things like that we do at the end of the year. But this is it. This is it for 2023, buddy.
I can't believe it. I can't believe it. It's almost Christmas, almost New Year. 2024 is right around the corner. It's amazing.
We're going to be heading off Saturday for a cruise. We're cruising over the holidays. This is one we were supposed to do in 2020, but then that certain little COVID thing happened and everything got canceled.
No way. This one is from then?
Yes, this one's from then. We were supposed to do it that year and it got canceled, so we finally rescheduled it for this year. So the best part, you know what the best part about doing a Christmas cruise is? I know you don't like cruising, but you'll like this part. I don't have to cook or do dishes the entire week.
No. And you don't have to deal with a crazy family.
Well, that's
actually
true.
I'm really thinking that this whole vacation over Christmas thing might be my 2024.
There you go. Perfect idea. You don't have family, you don't have dishes, and you don't have to cook. It's the best thing ever.
And you know, my husband, the airline pilot, always works on Christmas. So I end up having to go to his family by myself with Lucas. And you know what, Lucas? And I might just head out. Peace out next Christmas.
Do you want to join us? We can probably get you. No, they're sold out. Sorry, can't get you a ticket this year.
I'm good. I'm good for this year. Thanks,
bud.
bud.
All right, no problem. So we are going to, as we always do at the end of the year, we're going to take a look back at 2023 in our lives personally. And also we are going to take a look at Horses in the Morning. I have put together this annual stats for you. This is always shocking to us. Yes. But we also have Brad from Double D Trailers is going to give us part 2 on the trailer series, talking about which configuration of a trailer is best for you. I think Jennifer and I have had almost all of them. And as I said, we're going to take a look back. We don't have weird news today, do we? What? Do we have weird news?
Yes, of course. We have a year-end wrap-up of weird news.
Oh, that's perfect. I love that. And then auditors, hang on for the post show. We'll hang out with you guys for a couple of minutes. So we really do appreciate you all being here. Now, let's do a Daily Whinnies and sit down, everybody. This is going to take a while. Come on. Happy birthday. Don't do this to me in the last recording of the year.
Oh, my God. It crashed on the last.
We are sending out 2023 in style here. There's a lot of auditor birthdays. I tried to look at all the ones through January the 2nd when we come back. So if I missed anybody, I apologize, but this is what I found. Sarah, Deb, Tiffany, Sarah, Nicola, Maria, Kim, Tamira, Ash, Beth, Brenda, Zoe, Stephanie, Kelly, and Megan. Happy birthday to all of you. There are a lot of people that are born around Christmas time.
They should get extra Daily Whinnies because they are born around Christmas time. Like Chad's birthday is January 8th, and I find it hard enough to separate with having that much time. I can't imagine how difficult it is for family, too, to deal with somebody who's got a birthday. It's basically your fault that you were born so close to Christmas.
That's right.
So,
that's right.
Yeah.
That is true.
So I'm going to give a Daily Whinnie, and I'm not super happy about it because I'm like incredibly jealous, and I would like to give my Daily Whinnie. We're going to round out the year with Rebecca O'Brien's email. Okay. Hi, Jamie. I'm writing to you as a fellow lover of The Man from Snowy River and Tom Burlington fan.
You found
February,
one.
Oh, you shut up. Everybody listening is except for you. In February 24, my husband and I are off to see a screening of The Man, as it is affectionately known here, played with a live orchestra for the music score at the iconic Sydney Opera House.
Oh, my God.
To further add to my
excitement. Did she send you a ticket?
No, and that's why I'm mad at her. But to further add to my excitement, Tom Burlington and Sigrid Thornton will be making an appearance.
Oh, we got to submit this for a travel voucher from Equine Network, don't we?
She said, to be honest, this is not my first close encounter with Tom. I was able to see him perform jazz at a dinner we attended at Willinga Park, which is an equestrian center near where I live in the coast of South Coast, New South NSW, whatever that is. I don't know. I'm sorry.
New South Wales? I don't know. That's in England, I think. I don't know.
Probably Wales. Australia, Wales. She's cooler than us is what it boils down to. She said, if you're interested, I can provide you with a review of the night at the Opera House for you to chat about on your podcast with Glenn, who incidentally needs to get on board and go watch the frickin' movie. I added the frickin'.
I figured, yeah.
So
because in Australia they wouldn't say frickin'.
No, and she's in Australia. She does say she's in Australia and she's dying of heat stroke. So I really honestly, okay, Rebecca, here's the thing.
Now, did she do this just to let you know that is she rubbing it in? Is that really why she's doing it?
I think she's reaching out as a fellow lover, but also letting me know that she's better than me. And there's no restraining order on her being within 500 feet of Tom Burlington. And I don't understand why I don't have tickets to this, but whatever. Anyway, at any point, Rebecca, yes, you better come on. And if you could, there's this little app on your iPhone. And it's like a voice note, and you just go up, and if you could please get to talk to him and just say, hey, could you please be a guest on Horses in the Morning? And if not, will you please say hi to this psycho fan of yours, Jamie Jennings, because I'll make that my ringtone. I would like to have a ringtone from Tom. So any of that. Anyway, Rebecca O'Brien, you're my new best friend, and I'm totally jealous.
Oh, that's funny. That is funny. Well, we're also glad you're listening, Rebecca, even if you do have a terrible taste in movies. But we're glad you're listening. Now, how cool would it be, though, with the orchestra at that iconic landmark?
Oh my God, it's the best soundtrack of all time in the history of soundtracks. And I'm not even like a soundtrack person. And I know every note. And I just, that'd be so cool. Oh my gosh.
Very cool. I sent you a weird news story.
Yes, you did.
I think I was awake the other night, couldn't sleep because I was hacking and coughing, and I found this one. It's Christmas related, so I think it's appropriate that we do it today, don't you?
I do. And so I wanted to, Plantation, Florida, is that close to you?
Not too close. It's down in the bad part, down in the southeast, down along the coast there.
Well, then that's par for the course. So this South Florida home in Plantation, Florida, is Kathy Hyatt. She's a realtor, and her ex-husband, Mark, who passed away in 2020. They had this home. They've been living in this. Kathy has been living in this home for the last 15 years. And they do a Christmas light display that is known all over. Like, people could be listening to this for the first time and being like, oh my God, I know that house. Like, I've been to that house. There's pictures.
It is enormous light display.
It makes the Christmas movie with Clark Griswold, like, it's embarrassing. Like, this has The Great Light Fight.
Remember that show? That's that kind of Christmas display.
Yes. It's over the top. And apparently there have been, because of their Christmas light display, there have been some legal issues and complaints between the city of Plantation and the Hyatts that all stem from their Christmas light situation. Well, they call it a Christmas light situation.
It's huge traffic jams is the problem.
Well, I feel like if you are involved in something that is causing a big problem with the city and you're attracting a lot of attention, you should be fairly squeaky clean. However,
it is Florida.
Squeaky clean. So it turns out that this lady with the Christmas lights have been squatting in this home for like 15 years. It's not even their house. There's like, they didn't pay taxes, and the house got repossessed basically by the government, and nobody put it together that they weren't supposed to live there. They owe $35,000 in back taxes alone. And apparently it went on so long, the statute of limitations for criminal charges is already gone. Like, now they're just trying to work through all the paperwork of who owns the home.
Did you see what she does for a living? Did you catch that part? She's a realtor. So what she did 15 years ago is she actually filed falsified papers to get this all put in her name. But basically, none of it was real. So she was squatting for 15 years.
Like, so whose house actually is it?
I don't know. Somebody died. I don't know if it was a state issue and she just caught wind of it because she was a realtor and knew how to game the system. But she's been rent-free, tax-free, everything free for 15 years, except for the light display, which must have cost her a fortune.
Yeah, but why on earth would you be like, everybody look at me?
But you know, people who are criminals never think they're going to get caught. Right?
True. I guess so.
She thought she had this down. She had this nailed.
Yeah.
Welcome
it's
to
crazy.
Florida.
And by the way, this story was in People magazine, which is hilarious. Florida news has made the national media, Glenn. The national media.
You know, I read an article over the weekend, too, of the 20 drunkest and most strung out states, the highest drug use. And believe it or not, Florida was not in the top 20.
What?
I know. So our people just come by this naturally.
Was Oklahoma number one?
Oklahoma was in the top 20. I will tell you that. Yes.
I believe it. Just yesterday, Chad's like, did you see what was going on next door? And I'm like, what? Apparently our next door neighbors, the ones to the east of us that really don't like us because we built our barn and arena next to their house because that's where it was going to go.
You don't have braying donkeys. What do they want? What are they complaining about?
I know, right?
Yeah.
They're just not super fans of us. And yesterday, Chad's like, we call them the pot neighbors, and across the street are the meth neighbors.
Oh.
So these are the pot neighbors. So Chad walked out and he was like, why are there so many police cars up front? All the sirens going.
Oh, no.
And we see the neighbor sitting, the lady cuffed, sitting on the ground in her front yard. Her husband's up on the patio smoking a cigarette, watching his wife get taken away. We're like,
was this the pot neighbors or the meth neighbors? Or both?
The pot neighbors.
Oh, okay.
The pot neighbors.
So the meth house is still active, but the pot people, they're gone.
They're still going. They're cracking down slowly but surely around here.
Why is it no matter where you move, out in the middle of nowhere? We lived in the middle of nowhere on a 100-acre farm. The house, you couldn't see another house from our house, and the neighbors stole our cows. Why is it that you always have that neighbor no matter where you move? They
stole your cows? Here in Oklahoma, you get shot for that.
Well, our cows got loose, ended up at their property, so they thought it would be fun to put them on their truck and take it to them to their other farm.
Oh,
Jennifer, the only reason we got those cows back is Jennifer was driving down the road one day, looked into this field full of cows and saw our two cows because they had distinctive markings. And they had they were protecting our cows by moving them from one farm to the other.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, thanks.
Why is it though? Everywhere you move, you have that one neighbor.
There's
Look
always
at poor
crazies.
Mary Kitzmiller. I mean, she's had 10 years of those neighbors. Oh God, worse than any of us ever had.
Just remember, if you live somewhere and you don't have that neighbor,
you are that neighbor.
You're that neighbor.
All right, let's talk about our highlights of the year. So I'll start, give you a chance to think about it a little bit. So this is positive. We try and end the last episode that we're recording for the year on a high note. So I got to thinking, what were my highlights? And they don't have to be show related. They can be anything. We'll talk about the show a little later. So my highlights are getting to do this show for another year because I just feel like we're ripping the system off by getting to do this for another year. So thank you for everybody for listening and helping us continue to do it for another year. I have to think about personally our number one. This is Jennifer and I both. Our trip to Norway was just fabulous. And it was people who hike the Appalachian Trail, people who do hard things, they go doing adventurous things, or they go travel the world and come back. They always say the same thing. And that's, the places were cool and the scenery was great, but it's the people that you meet that make it. And that was the same way for our trip to Norway. We're still in contact with the couples we met there and spent the whole week with on the cruise.
Well, Chad says it's the people you meet and the food you eat.
But there you go.
Make a trip.
There you go. And I totally agree with them. And of course, for us, buying the farm. So we bought over 2 acres ranch, and we were just up there again yesterday, finishing up some fencing in the front, and we got our approval for our barn, and are hoping to hear about that this week. So I would say that's just we call it our happy place. When we go up there, we're happy. So yeah, it's our happy place. And so I would say those things, the trip to Norway and buying the farm, are really happy highlights for the year. How about you? I know you've had a lot of not so good highlights. So what about the highlights? What about the good things?
I started making I had to go back through my Facebook page and see the happy things that I had posted.
Facebook tracks that for us.
It does. And I love Facebook memories, and it pops up, and it's great. Yeah. And so I would like to think all the horses that I got adopted into new homes was a highlight. It always is. It always makes me
and a lot of our listeners
happy.
Too. Yeah.
Yep. I found out some really cool news, and I think I told it on the show, but I don't know if I told you, Glenn, is that, do you remember Groot, my makeover horse from 2019?
Yeah.
I sold him after the thoroughbred makeover. He got in a pickle with that person, and somebody else bought him, did some research, found out I had him in the makeover, and sent him to me to restart. So that was really cool. Now, that was last year, but then this year, do you know what he is now doing for a living?
No.
He is now a member of the equestrian team for Texas A&M.
Oh, really?
He's now... Yeah, and I just was
so
thrilled. He's a school horse. That little monster is now basically competing in Texas A&M equestrian team. So
that's not a shabby highlight. Equestrian team either.
No, it's pretty awesome. My little filly Effie got a home, which was great. So Les Coulter, our listener, has her, and it's awesome. And going to New York to see Monty and the Cowboy and the Queen and watch that documentary. I knew
that had to make your list.
Debbie and Pat.
Yes.
Oh my gosh, that was awesome. So, I mean,
and the movement this year was for both of us too. Getting to hang out with Jared.
Yeah, the movement was great. I went to Vegas with my brother. It was really great. And then, honestly, I just walked downstairs and see my new puppy. And nothing makes you feel better than a new puppy, unless your husband's complaining because it ate his charger for his laptop. But that, I don't know.
Other than that,
new puppies are still fun.
He's only going to do that once when it's plugged in, right?
Just once. But you know what? You should have plugged it in. Should have learned a lesson. Oh, you would think of that.
Only because we've had it happen. The puppy never did it again. No.
Oh, jeez. Was puppy okay?
Yeah, but jumped back about 3 feet.
I would imagine, or got blown back. Hey, I also taught a clinic this year, which was really successful, and I think I've made lifelong friends.
Are you going to do that next year? Haven't you decided?
Yeah, I'm doing it again next year. And actually, one of the certified instructors, Hollister, he's a junior instructor. He's going to come down and teach it with me. So we're going to do that in October again. So I'm going to have a junior instructor helping me teach the clinic. So it's going to be really fun. And that'll be the Monty Roberts Intro Clinic next October. And I'm also going to have some intro exams in March, but you have to have taken the intro course to do that. And so that'll be fun. So Janet and Angie and Electra, those are like forever friends after that clinic. So it was so fun. And I'm still friends with Jen, who did the last one. It's great. It's great. All of the people that come to the clinic become friends for life. So it's great.
Well, you spend 2 weeks with somebody, you're either going to be good friends or enemies when you leave. So is it going to be one of the two?
The fortunate thing is we're all like-minded horse people that love horses, and the partying goes way. I'm like, guys, I can't drink any more wine. I have to talk tomorrow. So it's always a whole lot of fun, and it was great. So that was a big highlight of the year as well. So there was a lot of great things. It's just been a tough month. So I'm gonna. Yeah.
And for those that ask us every year what our resolutions are for 2024, we don't do resolutions. I never was even very good at goals. So we just haven't never done it. So
I feel like if I tell myself to do something, I will make myself not do it to be a rebel to myself. So I don't do
Why
resolutions.
be depressed a month later when you've broken everyone? And every year you're depressed a month later. So I just avoid the depression by not doing it in the first place.
We eat and drink what we want. We may or may not work out. We do. You know what? There's the only people you disappoint is yourself. So
you got me thinking actually just now, and I had never thought of this before this moment when you were talking about, I asked you if you're doing the clinic next year, and I got to thinking, I don't think we have anything. You know, us, we usually have 12 trips planned and all that stuff. I don't think we have anything. And I think partly is because we're supposed to be getting a house next year, right? So that kind of is the top priority. But I don't have anything. I did put in.
To be fair.
Yeah.
To be fair. On Saturday, you're going on a week-long cruise. And in January, you're going on another
February,
cruise.
Yeah, another cruise. I forgot about that. Yeah, I'm sorry, but we won't be there. First week of February, I won't be around. Just letting you know.
Great.
But I did put in for travel this year, but not to Kentucky. This year, I did put in. I have to do that now. I have a boss. I put in for October for the 5-star in Maryland because for us, that's home. That's where Jennifer showed. I saw her first show there.
Maybe it's going to be the same time as my clinic. That wouldn't work. I love I love Rolex. So, oh my gosh.
I know, but I just wanted. It's for us. It's nostalgic going to Maryland, because that's where I watched Jennifer do her first show. So that's why we put in for that.
Oh, that's sweet.
Yeah, so that's kind of why we picked it. It's completely different than it was 30 years ago, but that's part of what we want to see too. So
that's
I think
on my birthday, I can't go.
Is it really?
I'll go to Land River.
Okay, you go to Land River, you cover that. I'll cover Maryland, and we'll be good to go.
Good, and then I don't even have to see you.
That's it. That's perfect. All right. Live EQ is the equestrian industry's fastest growing free mobile app. With over 60,000 users, Live EQ is on a mission to make it easier than ever to find all the opportunities you need in the horse world. With Live EQ app, you can find horses for sale or lease, stables for riding lessons or boarding, jobs in the equine industry, events like horse shows or rodeos, and now service providers such as farriers, equine dentists, and more. Live EQ is also striving to enable the growth of small equestrian businesses by giving barn managers, service providers, horse sellers, event managers, and employers a free place to list their businesses and open roles for equestrians who are actively searching. I love their job thing in there. It's very extensive and it's very well done. Any user can list a horse for sale or lease, create a stable listing, open up a new job, create an event, or start a service provider business listing. Over 60,000 equestrians use Live EQ to find opportunities in their area. Start growing your business with a free listing today. Download the Live EQ. That's Live EQ. She calls it Live-EQ. But then I think it's easier to remember if you say Live EQ.
It sounds like equitation, though.
Yeah, that's what I said too. So I'm going with Live EQ. And you can find that in your app store today. So Live EQ, and you can start growing your horse world. This has been needed since apps were available 10, 15 years ago on phones. So good for her for getting this started, Live EQ. And I really think it's going to become the industry standard here over this next year. So you can help it be that way by using it. Live EQ. All right, let's talk about our year in review. Are you ready for the numbers? This is just Jamie and I, Monday, Wednesday, and Friday on Horses in the Morning. This doesn't include the Tuesday and Thursday shows. This is just the ones we did. So we have done 150 episodes this year, 140 hours of programming. Our episodes have been running about 55 minutes without the post show. That's 8,400 minutes of our yakking.
Good Lord, I'm exhausted hearing that.
So listeners, you've spent 8,400 minutes with us. 45 hours of post-show. So that means the auditors have spent, an additional 45 hours times 60 minutes with us. Probably over 10,000 minutes. Oh, my God. 215 guests have tolerated us or not. Approximately 400 commercials, thanks to all our sponsors who make this possible. 1,500 really bad ads.
Oh, my God.
Equestrian first world problems. 1,500 equestrian first. There are a lot of problems in the equestrian world. And you've done 600 weird news stories over the time.
Are you serious?
No, that can't be right. 50 times 4. You've done 200. You do about 4
Still,
a week.
that's a lot of weird news.
That is. That's a lot of weird news. So that's the numbers for this year. Now, if I take a look, this is guesstimates as best I could. If I take a look since the beginning of our show, which started in 2010, we're in our 14th year now. You and I have done 2,100 episodes.
This is not including the Tuesday, Thursday.
Not including those. It's 3,300 if you include those. 2,200 hours of programming. So that means, Rhonda, who's listened to us since the beginning, and a couple of others, you've listened to us for 132,000 minutes.
Oh, my God.
Hundreds of hours of post shows, which we started doing several years ago. I don't even know when. Over 3,200 guests. 5,000 commercials. 15,000 bad ads. We've been doing bad ads for over 10 years. We've done over 15,000 bad ads.
Wow.
And they keep coming. They're still bad ads. And A Question First World Problems, we didn't start that till 4 years ago, I think. So 4,000 A Question First World Problems.
Wow.
Jamie's been tried to get out of a few of these over the years, but listeners love them, so we keep doing them.
I keep trying to stop one of these segments, and by God, they keep sucking me back in.
The focus group just loves them, and I love the fact that they love them, and Jamie's trying to get out of it. I think that's great. Think about the number of hours that we have spent together.
Yeah. Yeah, and you know what's amazing is that you can spend this much time talking to somebody over 2,100 episodes, 2,200 hours, and you and I still converse very easily.
Yes, and you know what? We're still surprised at things we find out about each other after all these years. But I think that's true of marriage too, right? You're still surprised.
I shared something on Monday I think took you by surprise.
Yeah,
so.
There's always surprises. I think you have more for me than I have of you. Or I just don't talk about them. I'm not sure which. But yeah, even after all this time. So, and also you guys have listened for that time. And we know a lot of you listen to every episode we do. So thank you for tolerating us for 8,400 minutes. Think of all the things you could have done during that time that would have been more productive than us.
Are you trying to talk people out of listening to us?
No, we help them. The way we have to look at that is everybody's listening to this while they're doing something else. We help them get through 8,400 grueling minutes of cleaning stalls, driving to work, cleaning the barn, doing their dishes, vacuuming. Look at all the things. Look at 8,400 minutes. We made your life better.
Or pissed you off. Could either way, one or the other. But yeah, I mean, I listen to podcasts while I'm working or driving. So yeah, it does help. And I do, because I don't listen to this one clearly. I do feel like a connection with the people I listen to, you know, and when I clean stalls, I think of this one particular podcast I listen to and I'm like, oh wait. And when I hear them not cleaning stalls, I'm like, oh crap, I gotta go clean my stalls. You know, like you put it together with what you're doing at the time. So thanks to everybody listening for bringing us along in your life and letting us be part of it.
I got to do a podcast recently. It's not one on the Horse Radio Network, but it is a horse-related one. It's for the Equestrian Media called the Freelance Remuda. The Freelance Remuda. And I wanted to just mention that I got to do their podcast with them, and they were talking about the state of the equine media in the horse world. And it was the last episode they did, so you can find the Freelance Remuda, which I have trouble saying for some reason. And they're wonderful. I love both of them, and I actually talked to them and helped them get started years ago. And we talked about that, and I got to thinking, can you imagine when we started this show, there was nobody asking us to talk about the state of equine media. They didn't even look at us as anything related to equine media. We had trouble for a couple of years getting press passes to go to Rolex.
Yeah, no kidding.
We had to beg for them.
Do what?
And then now, you know, we can get press passes to go anywhere. It's just crazy how
I went last year and they were like, where's Glenn? Where's Glenn? I'm like, y'all didn't even want him here a few years ago.
That's right. It's so funny. We had to beg. Remember, we had to beg for a table. And they put us down in this little spot where nobody could find us. So we could do our show. And then that changed over the years, too. But it's just so weird how far this podcasting thing has come from when we started it all those years ago.
It's crazy. I love it when I'm like, I do a podcast. They're like, I'm like, no. No, I've done like 3,000 episodes.
Yeah.
So it's not new. Like people think, oh yeah, everybody started a podcast in COVID.
Yeah. And most of them aren't here anymore. They're right. Most of them aren't here anymore. Well, there you go. There's our numbers for this year. All right, let's hear from Daily Dose Equine, one of our terrific sponsors, and then we're going to go to Double D Trailers for part 2 of the trailer series. And today I got to speak with Brad, who I absolutely love. We ended up talking for an hour after we recorded this. I love this is talking about configurations and what's best for you and your horses.
Non-GMO whole food nutrition is the basis of the entire Daily Dose Equine program. We never forget that natural is better and simplicity is key. Our full line of specialty horse feeds is unique in the industry. We start with high-quality, non-GMO grains that are flame-roasted for safety and better digestibility. And then we add non-GMO alfalfa, timothy, peas, sunflower seeds, and flax. Your horse will enjoy unsurpassed balanced core nutrition with elevated levels of vitamins, zinc and copper, prebiotics, probiotics, and electrolytes in every mouthful. Find the perfect formulation for your horse at dailydoseequine.com. Select Daily Dose Equine formulations are available nationwide through Chewy.com and TractorSupply.com. Welcome to our monthly horse trailer series, brought to you by Double D Trailers. Find them online at doubledtrailers.com. That's double, the letter D, trailers.com.
Glenn here, founder of the Horse Radio Network and host of Horses in the Morning. One of the top requested segments we've gotten from listeners is about trailers and trailer safety. Brad Heath from Double D Trailers has agreed to help us with a 5-part series on trailers. Brad is the owner of Double D Trailers with over 25 plus years of experience in the horse trailer manufacturing and equestrian industry. And we had a lot of response on the first episode, and that was the do's and don'ts of trailer hauling. You can find that at horseradionetwork.com/trailer. Today, in part 2, we're talking about trailer configurations and layouts, the least controversial thing that we're going to discuss in these 5-part series. Brad, as you know, I'm being very sarcastic about that because everybody has opinions, right? So is it straight or slant load? Which is better? Which is more horrible for my horse? Let's get into straight versus slant load trailers.
Yeah, thanks for having us, Glenn. And yeah, just throw me right into the lion's den right out of the gate, won't you? I mean, come on here. So, I have been doing this for a long time, and we've dealt with thousands of clients on many different configurations. And we hear from clients, my horse doesn't haul well in a straight load. I've got to have something different. And then on the flip side, we hear from other clients, I don't like slant loads. My horse doesn't haul well in that. I can't access the center horse and things of that nature. I'm more of one of these folks who tends not to throw in my opinion on much of anything. That way I don't get into trouble so much. And I try to stick with, what I've learned in factual information and feedback from clients over the years. When we're looking at straight loads, I think the first trailer was built back in maybe the 50s, and it was a 2-horse bumper pull straight. The problems that I continue to see with straight loads today, particularly in a 2-horse, you've got, once you get one horse loaded, you have the butt bar to contend with. That's something that can be a hazard. We've actually had some clients get kicked while trying to access one of the horses and fooling around with the butt bar. And then when you're loading horse number 2, it's sort of like a hallway effect. If you got one horse in there, you got the other stall. So this guy, you're asking him to load in a smaller space. Now, granted, if you have a side ramp so that, your horse doesn't have to back out, which is another thing that I don't particularly like because many horses don't like to do that. So if you had a side ramp, you could make the argument, hey, I can walk the horse on, I can walk the horse off, I can access either horse if I have an issue and, load one or the other. The slant loads were introduced back in the early 80s, I believe, is the history on that. And primarily, I think to pack in more horses in a smaller space and smaller horses too was their original intention. We'll hear from clients that say, well, my trainer says I need a straight load. And the science that I read says in a straight load that horses balance themselves on both front, rear, front, rear, front, rear. So you don't end up unloading the horse with one side that's lame or, more fatigued than the other. Whereas in a slant load configuration, they may balance on the front, right, and left rear, front, right, left, rear. And so the argument is over a many hour period, if you're traveling to a show in a slant, you may unload that horse and they favor one side or the other. So that's sort of the argument there, at least that I have heard from a trainer perspective. When we jump back to the slant load, today, Glenn, we probably do 95% slant. And I have clients all over the United States.
That surprises me. Yeah.
Yeah. We have clients all over the U.S. hauling really expensive breeding horses, mare and foal, show horses. You name it. Some really high dollar animals that clients are transporting. So safety is of the utmost importance, both for horse and handler. And a lot of the complaints with slant loads, my horse doesn't like to load in the narrow door with the rear tack. We've solved that issue on some of our designs. In a 2-horse configuration, if it were a slant, the argument is, well, I can't access the front horse in an emergency situation. We offer side ramp, so that solves that issue. And then even in a 3-horse configuration, we can do a side ramp on the front stall. We can do, you can access the back horse from the back doors of the trailer. But for the center horse, how do you get to him? Well, we have solutions on that too. We built a 3-horse reverse load with a double side ramp, and it allows you to access each horse independent from the other. And then other pushback that we hear on slants, I have a 17-2 warm blood, 1,500 plus pounds, and he or she, they're just not going to fit in that configuration, and which is entirely false. In horse trailers, they're just like pants and shoes and coats and shirts. One size doesn't fit all. And so we simply collect the need of the client. We listen to what they're trying to accomplish. And then from there, we make recommendations as to what may or may not work the best. We lay out all the information and we let the client make their own decision.
So what's the difference? So talk about the reverse slant and reverse straight. What does that mean?
Well, I never even heard a reverse load. I can't say it until about 10 years ago. A client out of Texas reached out to us and she said, "Hey, I really like you guys' safe tack compartment and I want a reverse load." And I'm like, "A reverse who? What is that?" And so she started explaining the benefits, some independent studies that suggest horses haul with less stress in a rear-facing configuration. I jumped on and really just started to kind of look of what was available in the market. And a lot of manufacturers are already building reverse loads, but they were all littered with safety concerns and safety hazards, either narrow ramps, no place for the handler to escape, no access to the middle horse. I mean, it was a laundry list of issues. And so, we put on our thinking caps and set out to solve the concerns associated with reverse loads and actually have a patent on that. So our solution allows you to haul a horse in a forward-facing configuration or a rear-facing configuration, and that would be in the slant design. In a straight configuration, I think...
before you go on, so they would have a side door to load then?
You could load through the side door and unload through the back, or you can load through the back door and unload through the side door.
Gotcha. Okay.
Yeah, so on the reverse load in a straight configuration, we typically see that in a 2-horse. I guess you maybe could do a 3. I've never built one. What I see that I personally don't like it is the horse's head is sticking right at the back doors of the trailer, for one. So if you get rear-ended, I'm not sure, what the safety aspect of that would be. And the other problem is on the construction.
Stop quick.
Yeah. The other problem is on the construction design itself. The axles have to be, if it's a 2-horse bumper pull with a dressing room, and you look at the axle placement where the horse stands, the axles are slid farther forward on a reverse load straight than what they would be on a conventional straight load, because they're trying to center the majority of the horse's weight over that axle bed. And that's fine, but my concern is, I've had clients to haul horses in a box stall configuration. They remove the dividers, and if that weight shifts farther to the back, because their head is designed to be at the back, not their butt. And if you throw all that horse's body weight at the back, I think you could end up with negative tongue weight there, and that certainly wouldn't be a good situation. So just for those reasons and a couple more, we recommend against straight loads and reverse loads, and it's just not anything that we will build.
Let's talk a little bit about the 2+1. I'm actually seeing, I think, more 2+1s, or maybe I just know people who own them more. Kind of explain that configuration.
Yeah, so I'm not sure who came up with that. I think I first heard of it, I don't know, maybe early 2000s. I have no idea, but 2+1, what does that mean? Are we hauling 3 horses? What are we doing here? And we offer those. I've built a handful over the years, probably less than 10. It's just not something that we've had a tremendous amount of success with. And what I don't like about it, folks...
Kind of explain what it is first.
Well, 2+1 would be you're going to straight load 2 horses in the back stall. It has a partition, butt bar, chest bar. And then there's a +1 area that's just open. There's not any partitions and typically not any padding. So you could haul a horse up there.
Sideways almost, right?
Sideways or at a slant. I mean, the horse can do whatever they want if it's in a box stall and they're untethered. My preference is I like to see horses tied, and I like to see horses in stall dividers for, bracing, and you have to really get on the brakes hard and things like that. And, you have a client with very expensive horses, and they're very concerned about the safety. They want the padding, they want the dividers, and they want all of this. And then we've just got this one guy standing at the front by himself with no padding, no divider, no anything. And it's like, what are we doing here? It's like, this one is not important. So, I've had a couple of instances where a client was hauling 2 horses, a 4-wheeler, a carriage, multiple things that she was needing. And that configuration solved all of her needs. So we went with that.
So what happens there is the 2 horses are in the back straight load, and then there's a space for the carriage or whatever to go in front of them.
That's right. So in that particular configuration that we built for the client, I don't think we had a dressing room on it, just some doors that would swing open. So what I didn't like about it is on a straight load, the divider has to be moved out of the way. If you're going to load a carriage to the back door of the trailer and roll it to the front,
you'd almost have just side doors for that door.
You got to take the thing apart, and the side door works, but only if you have a short carriage. I mean, you've got to, you got to be less than about 90, 80 inches to fit it in sideways, and many of those are longer than that.
So finally, the one thing I don't think we talked about where the wheels are, we've talked about weight, we've talked about all that stuff. The one thing we haven't talked about is height. And we've all been behind trailers where you got that tall thoroughbred in there who's hunched over because he's in this little tiny quarter-horse trailer. Is there a general rule for the height?
Yes, our standard models in an 80 wide, it'll fit up to 15.2 style horse. Those are going to be 7 feet 4 inches interior clearance. Once we jump up to maybe a 16.1, 16.2 hand guy, we'd like to see 7.6 on the height. And then a huge majority of what we build for a 17 plus size, those are going to be 7.8. And I have folks that come to us and they're like, hey, I need an 8-foot trailer. And, my comment is like, in 26 years, I don't know that I've ever built an 8-foot tall trailer before. So, I won't say that 7, 8 is the magic number for any horse out there, because there's certainly some that are, really tall, but majority of the time that 7, 8 height will give ample room for a large size horse, as well as enough headroom to enter and exit through a side ramp without, smacking their head on top and things like that.
Well, that's terrific. A lot of good information here. And I know everybody has their own preference, and we probably haven't changed any minds about straight versus slant, but that's okay. As I said, we've had both, and we both have worked fine for us because we were trying to do it within the limitations of our horses in the trailer, right? Trying to be safe. So yeah, you have to do what's safe for you as well. Where can they learn more about Double D and getting a trailer ordered?
Yeah, jump on our website at doubledtrailers.com. You can price out right online. You can do various configurations, select your horse size. So a lot of interactive tools there.
Yeah, yours is more interactive than any other I've seen. And what are we looking at? One question we did get since the last part that we did is, what are we looking at lead time if somebody orders a trailer?
In post-COVID, when all that hit, 12 to 14 months. But, finally things have caught up a little bit and turned back to normal. So we're in about that 90-day window at the moment.
Oh, that's not bad at all for a custom trailer. Well, you can find the previous episodes and all the episodes we're going to do, all the segments we're going to do on trailers and trailer safety. You can find them at horseradionetwork.com/trailer. And don't forget that Double D Trailers has a podcast. What's it called?
Horse Trailer Post Podcast. Check it out.
So, State Line, you're running out of time. You have no time to order your spouse or your horse friend anything to get it here in time. When you hear this, it's probably too late. But you can buy a gift certificate. And gift certificates are horse husband approved and horse wife approved. We established that years ago in this show. So you can go to State Line right now, statelinetech.com, and buy your gift certificate. And we used to, I know I've told this story before, but we have a lot of new listeners. When we had our tack shop, yes, Jennifer and I had a tack shop in the early days. We were the second store to have an online presence when the internet started. VTO Saddlery was first, and we were second.
You guys have done everything.
We have. We were the first ones to sell on eBay. I started Tack of the Day, which a lot of you probably know about and didn't know I started. But anyway, when we had our store in the early days, you couldn't buy it online. You couldn't pay by credit card because that didn't exist. You still had to send checks. So basically, it was a catalog online, and you still sent a check.
Oh my God.
That's when we started. So we had this guy every year used to call us on the phone. He wouldn't even do it online. He'd call us on the phone for like the whole time we were in business. He'd call us on the phone and say, I want to buy my wife the gift certificate this year. Well, the first year we said, okay, how much? And you're usually expecting $100 maybe, right? 50, 100, maybe 200 for the really wealthy husbands, or really generous ones. This year, at this time, or that guy every year was $2,500.
Get out.
Nope.
Holy cow.
$2,500 every year. He used to do the gift certificate every year for his wife, and she used to spend it every year like in a month.
I don't know if I could spend $2,500 on tack in a year, but I sure would like to try.
Tell Chad. So yeah, that was the guy. He did that every year. And I figured, they probably had a lot of money, I guess, or he was broke and running up his credit card. I don't know. But it's all he gave her. That's
for the whole year.
If it isn't, she's one lucky woman. But yeah, she used to buy. One year she bought a saddle, and then one year she bought a pile of stuff. We sent boxes of stuff out there. Can you imagine trying to spend $2,500 worth of stuff on State Line? You would have a crate. You'd have a pallet coming in. So
Please bring back the truck in.
So if you're feeling, bad, if you were a bad boy this year and need to make it up to your wife, $2,500 gift certificate, State Line Tack. If it's not listed because it's too high an amount on the website, just call them. They'll take your money. All right, last one of these for this year.
Time to learn why some days you're embarrassed to be part of the human race. In Jamie's Weird News.
Hold on, we're puppy wrangling. What's going on? Why is she in here?
Why is Lucas off of school?
Yeah, it's out of school. He's out of school for
Already?
like 3 weeks. Yes, already. But she eats quartz, so I can't have her in here during this. But I love her and I love you.
No, we had
you guys
cats
are awesome.
that used to take us off the air when we were live.
Do you remember the puppy? Yeah, when I was down, it ate through my headphones while I was on the air. Awesome. So I was like, I'm going to see that again.
So why we don't do this show live anymore is Jamie's fault. It's her pets that caused us to stop
probably.
doing it live. Yeah.
It's fine.
All right, weird news.
Okay, so I decided to do something a little different for weird news. I would still like to thank the awesome people who sent me weird news stories. Allison, Claire, Glenn, Danielle, Nikki, April, and Delia. If you are looking through your news and you see something and you're like, dude, that's weird, email it to me, jamie@horseradionetwork.com. Weird news in the subject line, and then you will help contribute to this. How many weird news stories I do? 200? Okay, yeah. This year. So thank you for contributing. So we love to highlight Guinness Book of World Records, like the weird things.
Yes.
You know, on weird news, it seems to come up like every few weeks, some weird thing that has happened with a Guinness Book of World Records. Like, you can't believe there's a record for that. So compiled from UPI.com is a list of the top 10 weirdest Guinness World Records of the year.
And they seem to get weirder and weirder.
Most of them have video, and I would encourage you to follow the link to this so you can watch, like this first one, which is a talented tabby cat hailing from Missouri, jump roping. The most times in 1 minute for a cat ever, 9 times. That's the record to break. She and her 13-year-old Kit Kat have been practicing jump rope routine since the cat was 6 months old. 6 months old. And they finally broke the record for 9 in a minute. That seems like the cat maybe doesn't like it. Does that seem like
It doesn't seem like a lot to me.
You've been practicing for 13 years and your cat jumps it.
She taught a cat to do anything.
That's true. I guess it takes 13 years to teach a cat to jump rope 9 times.
Some cats don't even learn to use a litter box. So, I mean, think about it.
It's true. Yeah. It's true. The next one I actually think we covered on Weird News, and this is the Maryland woman named Kimberly Winter, and she burped. It's the loudest burp ever by a woman. 107 decibels. That is as loud as a motorcycle at full throttle.
That's like TSO concert level right there. I could not date that woman, by the way. I'm just throwing that out there. No.
I don't think I could date this guy. He's a French firefighter. His name is Jonathan. Again, it begs the question, why? Why would you do this? French firefighter Jonathan Vero donned a protective suit and was set ablaze on a track, set on fire, and ran 893 feet, which earned him the records for the long distance full body burn run without oxygen. Why?
What could possibly go wrong with that one?
Get an entire suit that lights you on fire and you run. You got no air. How far can you make it before you die? Apparently, he's still alive. Another one. Let's see. I think we might have covered this one as well because it's about Rocky, a 9-year-old boxer from Bloomington, Illinois. And he had his tongue measured. And from the tip of his snout to the tip of his tongue, 5.5 inches.
Wow. Oh, man, when he licks your face, it's a whole new level of, ugh.
You are covered. Now, he did beat out Zoe, the Labrador German Shepherd mix, who had a 5-inch tongue, and she had earned that title earlier in the month, but they were like, hold my beer. My dog's got a longer tongue, and was taken down as a boxer.
I don't see them having long tongues, but I guess this one.
Oh, man, when they get hot, it was like,
oh, that's true, yeah.
Julia.
I can't do drooly dogs. We never have been able to do drooly dogs.
A Balfazil Saber Makatari. Okay. It was worth saying his name because he is a very talented individual. He lives in Iran. And this year he set the Guinness Book of World Record for balancing 88 spoons on various parts of his body. Cool. That's that guy. He beat his own record of 85. So he's a double victor. Avery Emerson Fisher. She's 13 years old. And she has 2 interests in life, Glenn. And one is scuba diving and one is stage magic.
Well, you don't picture a 13-year-old scuba diving, do you?
She loves magic and scuba diving. So it led to the fantastic Guinness Book of World record-holding moment of doing 38 tricks underwater in 1 minute while scuba diving.
Really? How do you do card tricks underwater?
She is literally in the video holding cards, like doing card tricks. I don't know. I don't know.
And would the rabbit
I don't
drown?
ask questions. Oh, God, Glenn. I think it's card tricks, okay? I didn't watch the whole video because it's a 12-year-old doing card tricks underwater.
Pull the rabbit out of the hat. I'm just thinking about the rabbit drowning. And how about the doves? They don't do so well underwater either.
German restaurant Vapiano gathered 465 couples at the Tempelhof Airport hangar in Berlin to perform simultaneous Italian kisses. Do you know what Italian kiss is, Glenn?
No. I knew the French had kisses. I didn't know the Italian had separate kisses.
The Italian kiss involves 2 people putting one spaghetti noodle in their mouth and
like the
making
movie.
their way, like in Lady and the Tramp. Yeah. They held the record of 465 couples simultaneously eating a spaghetti noodle together and locking lips when they meet in the middle. I can't make that up. Shall I keep going? You want to hear more?
Yeah, sure. This is fun.
All right. So
I don't feel like
this
working.
So. Andre Ortolf. He is a serial world record breaker. He has broken over 100 records to his name. Okay. This guy, his life is to get into the book. Well, congratulations. You've done it again. You donned a blindfold and assembled Mr. Potato Head in less than a minute.
How many times? Just once?
He added the feet, arms, face, and hat to the plastic spud in 12.11 seconds. That is the fastest time to assemble a Mr. Potato Head blindfolded.
Does this guy start with an idea and then go to the book, or does he go to the book to get his ideas?
He's going to go to the book and be like, I can beat that. Somebody somewhere had to create a reason, like a thing. I don't know.
And does he have a job? How do these people have time when they have a job to do all of this?
It is amazing. I think this is their job. Two more. And this has got to be, unfortunately, there is no photo of this, but I feel like somebody could find it and send it to me because, how hot is this guy? Paul Slossar of Somerville, South Carolina. He has the record for the longest mustache on any living person that is a man. Sounds like there's a woman with a longer one. That's right. Paul Slossar has a length of his 2 foot 1 inch whiskers at him officially verified at this place. This is a place. The National Beard and Mustache Championships in Casper, Wyoming.
Oh my God. Who knew?
He has sports an English style mustache and it's slender. This is what the World Beard and Mustache Championships describe. Say that 5 times fast. Describes it as slender, beginning from the middle of the upper lip, with hairs extremely long and pulled to the side, tips maybe lifted and curled slightly. I need a picture of this. Somebody find it.
That's a long mustache. I can't imagine.
Oh my God. That's a long mustache. Now, the final thing, Bulgarian man, Kaloyan Yavashev, he is a professional parrot breeder. That's right. He is a professional parrot breeder. Took up the side gig of professional parrot training, and he and his friend Chico have broken the world record and they did this on the Italian TV show La Show del Record. And Chico rode a scooter 16.4 feet in 14.58 seconds. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that's crazy.
His cockatoo rode a bike. And there's a video. And it's awesome. But it's still, being a parrot breeder and trainer. I mean, I guess he might think training horses is weird, I guess. Whatever. But way to go, Chico. And there you go.
Probably less. No, I was going to say less cleanup, but birds are messy. So that's not true.
Oh, It's impressive. Well, just know that it is accompanied with very loud techno type style music, and I couldn't listen to it. So I didn't see the whole thing, but I will send you that link, Glenn, and you can put that in the show notes so everybody can watch videos of all these awesome people.
Well, thank you again, everybody, for listening in. We'll have a brand new Equine Affair episode for you tomorrow, and then we start our best of episodes. Thank you to Ashley for putting those together this year. We have some fun stuff planned for you the rest of the year. Jamie and I will be back in January after the holidays. We hope you have a very Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. Be safe. Have some fun with the family there, Jamie. We're going to have fun on our balcony drinking strawberry daiquiris. So
sounds good, buddy. Everybody spay, neuter, and gild. Have a great one. Merry Christmas, Happy New Year, Happy Hanukkah, all the things.
Hold on, auditors.